Good morning. Sorry for the delay. I hope you're enjoying Slush. My name is Hala Fadel, and I lead Eurazeo Growth. I wanted to do a short intro of Eurazeo and why we're interested in the Greek ecosystem. So Eurazeo has been an investor in growth equity. Okay, perfect. So we started investing in growth equity in Europe in 2014, so a bit over 10 years ago. We manage in growth equity, invested in tech companies, but at growth stage. So we define growth from Series B to pre-IPO companies. We've invested 4 billion in 25 portfolio companies. And we're a team of 17, so we're currently one of the largest growth equity player in Europe. And maybe you can recognize some of the names you see here, like Fever or Ecovadis, Filigrane most recently, Back Market, Doctolib, Dataiku or Neo4j. And here in Finland we have a company called Avon. This is who we are. We like to find this sweet spot where companies have a product market fit that already works. They have around, say, 10 to 20 million in revenues, and they're thinking of scaling globally. And to help them scale, I'm trying to move this. Here, to help them scale, we use a number of things like our operating partners, but we're also part of a bigger platform where Eurazeo, as a company, is actually a listed French company that started as the family office of the founders of Lazard. And then extended their business into asset management, and we're part of this asset management expansion, where most of the money we manage today is third-party money. And so we like to partner with entrepreneurs that are at this sweet spot between, say, 10, 20 million in ARR and trying to grow internationally. And we think that today in the Greek ecosystem, there has been lots of investment at the early stages, and we might be in the coming year or two looking at companies that have reached that bar of being around 10, 20 million in revenues and thinking of going global. So it seems that I'm not very good at clicking on this, but here you are. So we're interested in the Greek ecosystem because it's a booming startup ecosystem. There's a rich, as I just mentioned, early stage pipeline. There's more and more capital being invested also in the early days, and there has been already a few exits from that ecosystem that are good proof points about how promising it is. I don't know if most of you here are from Greece or no. Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought we were presenting this to the Greek ecosystem, but maybe I missed out something. On a broader things, we invest all over Europe as Eurazeo. And so I was invited here by the Greek endeavor. This is why I thought I was highlighting Greece. But we invest all over Europe, so Europe is our home market. And we think there are some, for very same reasons as Greece, there's a very promising ecosystem in Europe. We've seen all the companies that were on stage. We have a number of those, unicorns in our portfolio. We hope to invest in companies that will become global category leaders in what they do. So they start in Europe, but usually their second market becomes very quickly the US, and they have more sales outside of Europe than in Europe. So as I mentioned earlier, we like to partner with some operating partners to help these companies scale. Today we have 5 of them that we work with. One person is dedicated on go-to-market US, because our pitch to European companies is, you started in one European country and then you have to go immediately to the US. So we have, for example, Riyad Dridi here, who's our go-to-market US person. And he has 20 years of experience at CMO, at VMware, RingCentral, Automation Anywhere. And he's bringing already a lot of value to our portfolio companies. We have Armel, who was Chief People Officer at Datadog at the time of their IPO and helped them scale from 200 million to 2 billion in revenues. So having this HR look, so she helps us read companies before investing and then identify with them areas of improvement. And this is what we do with all of our operating partners. We identify at the time of investment an opportunity to work with them on certain areas, and after investment we start working hand in hand with the CRO or the CMO, the Chief People Officer or the CEO, and with, for example, Philippe Vimard. He has technology and operations experience, having been the CTO of Expedia, Klarna, and Doctolib. So this is really key to our model, this partnership with operating partners. And we're organized by sector, so we try to build knowledge around certain sectors across Europe. So, for example, fintech, health tech. Today, everything is AI, so don't say AI because it's embedded in every one of those verticals. We were quite lucky as... so this is, I've already mentioned that. We were quite lucky with this fund because we did the first close of the fund this past July and had already an exit out of it, the largest exit for AI companies out of Europe, Cognigy. It's a German company doing customer support. Still trying to, I don't know where I should be pointing. So Cognigy, we invested in that company less than now a year ago, but we exited almost, less than a year after investment. So AI for customers. So this is the team of advisors that we have, advisors and operating partners that help us when we invest. So this exit that we did is very helpful for us in terms of, because we're currently fundraising for this fund. And it shows also how promising the European ecosystem is. If you look at Cognigy's competitors, like in the US, they were about 10 times more expensive than their European peers. So Sierra in the US, which does more or less what Cognigy did in Europe, had the same ARR of around 20 million when we invested, but was valued at 4 billion, and we invested in Cognigy at 350 million. So just to give you the scale and the potential of the European ecosystem, you find incredibly global companies, but you don't have that craze that you see today in the US, just simply because there aren't that many growth investors in Europe. So I'm trying to move also more. I don't know if you have questions at this stage. I can tell you a bit more about the portfolio we have today. We're looking at cybersecurity. Just did an investment in Filigrane, a French cybersecurity company that we announced just 3 weeks ago. We invested in a robotics company out of the UK called Dexery. It's robotics for the warehouse. And so we're very excited about what we see today in Europe in general. So this is our partnerships across the world that accelerates current businesses that we have in our portfolio. No, we don't invest in seed rounds. We invest in B and above, so late B, C, D. You had a question?
Companies that have a London office.
Yeah, definitely. Like Dextery, the example I gave is London is a UK company. We do invest in the UK, yes. Yeah. Our definition of Europe is not the EU definition of Europe. It's anything from, the Atlantic till Russia, basically.
Any other questions to Hala?
Hello. So we're expected to hit 8 million ARR this year, but 10 by month 3 next year. Is that something that we should wait to have a conversation?
No, we start looking at companies exactly around that time when they're at 6 to 8 million, because we like to build a relationship. It's it's a two-way process. On average, we meet founders about 18 months to 2 years prior their fundraise, prior to us them raising with us. Because it's important to build, trust, these things, and then to understand really the market. And this is when we can add most value. Like if you go through a process in 2 weeks, you probably didn't understand exactly what the company is doing. Although there are more and more of these processes, and the way we prepare for them is that we try to know our market ahead of time, so that when an opportunity comes up, we're ready to look at it.